Hey everybody, hope you enjoyed the message that you heard earlier whenever you watched it. I want to give you a few things that you could be talking about with your CGs. So the way I always like to start my CG is just by asking everyone, hey, what stood out to you about the message? And so why don't you ask them that and just see where the conversation goes. After that, my first point from Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 4 through 12, my first point was make it beautiful. So ask your group, what have you been doing during these days to make this time beautiful? And see what people have to say. Next point was do not decrease, but multiply. And so why don't you have everybody in the group answer the question, what's one area you could stand to grow in during this time? Or maybe what's one thing that you could do to grow during these days? Then from there, we went on to seek welfare and pray for the communities that we are in. So I think it'd be great if your groups did the same thing that we did in the sermon. If you just pause and you ask a couple people to pray for our communities, for our nation. Pray for people that you all know individually that may be having a difficult time. Next point was tune out the voices of fear. Anybody been struggling with that in your group? Anyone been really kind of battling a flare-up of anxiety as a result of everything that we're going through? How do you know whenever you've been listening to too many other voices rather than God's? How do you know that in your own personal life? And then finally, the last point was seek God. And so God's been looking for you. And maybe conclude with sharing some times like that in your life when turns out God was seeking you and you didn't even know it. Maybe you didn't feel like it, but in retrospect, you can look back and say, oh man, God was seeking me the whole time. Hey, everybody, so thankful that your group is meeting. I hope it's a massive blessing to you and your group. We're praying for you guys. Go have a great meeting.